There will be blue chalices.
Really?
McLaren got hit in the head. From
Who did?
from East Front.
This WAFLW live stream is brought to you by Optus, proud partner of the Waffle and WAFLW. The West Coast Eagles, supporting WA female footballers to follow their dreams. Kia, proud partner of the WAFLW. This is Kia. Simply Energy, supporting WA Footy's talent pathway.
It's our first glimpse of winter weather in the WAFLW season, round 12, Subiaco and Swan Districts here at Leederville Oval. Dave Lindsay with you in commentary on a pretty gloomy, wet and cold winter's day. We haven't quite reached winter in terms of the seasons, but certainly the weather's arrived here today. It's been a nice start to the year for all of the teams being able to work in the warmer conditions and the dry weather, but today they're going to have to play some winter football, and we'll test out whether Swans can maintain this unbeaten record of theirs as Maggie McLaughlin's out there for Subiaco as we start the Lions charge towards finals as well. They're on a bit of a winning streak, 3 in a row for the Lions, but they'll get their biggest test right here tonight or today with Swan Districts, the unbeaten black and whites in action. Abigail Bushby there, number 14 for Swans. We've liked the look of her over the last couple of weeks as well, so looking forward to seeing what she can bring out here today as well, as it's the Swans and the Lions, our match for broadcast, thanks to Front Row Screens. We'll bring in the rest of the commentary team. We'll certainly have a good look at Kia Buckley's action as well out there. She's a key player for Subiaco here this afternoon as well. All the action coming up in just a moment here on Front Row Screens.
Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple. Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple.
3, 1, go!
Swan District side running hot this season, undefeated as we move into round 12, and they've got a big task today against Subiaco, who have found their best form over the last few weeks. This is a massive test though for the Lions on a wet day at Leederville Oval. Subiaco and Swan Districts, our match of the day. There's the Lions as they get their last little messages from their leaders in there. Dave Lindsay with you in commentary, joined by Clint Degebrot and Jenny Wallace. Welcome, guys. We're looking forward to a massive game here, Jen.
Absolutely. I think, look, there's no denying the run of form from Swans 11 and zip, and then, you know, the Subi, there's a little bit of talk around town at the moment. They're 3 wins in a row, sort of coming the top 4, but definite favourites are Swans today. And then the wet weather changes everything. This whole season's been played in fine weather, so another interesting complication we'll get to watch today.
Been talking that up, haven't we, Diggs, over the past 3 or 4 months that it's been nice to watch the girls run around in the dry, but today it's back to good old-fashioned wet weather footy.
It is, and Miller and Buckley come in for Subiaco. They'll be really strong in this weather. Abby Darrick also kicks it a mile, as Jen was saying before, so off air that was. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting that the ground level players like Buckley and Miller are going to be really important for Subiaco today. They're bullocking players, they're hard-working players, and Swans have got a few of those too. A bit cleaner on the outside this season, Swans, but in and under there'll be Webb and Cox in the centre to start, and they've been good underneath the footy. The Hyde twins have been lovely too throughout this season. They're playing together finally after Breeze interrupted pre-season. They've really tag teamed well through the corridor in season 2021.
They're going to line up on the wings to start here today. Good contest here for Michaela Hyde on the near wing to us, up against Ange Stannett. We've been teammates for a couple of occasions this year in the AFLW.
Also in there was Dana East, who's just fine below her knees as well.
Yeah, I don't think these conditions would concern her too much at all. Jess Ritchie eyeing off the ruck contest here with Sarah Lakay, who wins it down nicely. And there is East straight onto the loose footy. Puts Swans into attack immediately. Naira Anderson is the target. Harkin watching her closely. Wins the hard football. Stands up in the Anderson tackle. How will the umpire watch this? Going to call for a ball up. Nicely done by Anderson, and Harkin refusing to let that ball spill out. So the umpire called upon to separate them. Ruck tap one again by Lakay down to East. Nice little hand pass to Michaela Hyde, who hooks it towards the top of the goal square. Anderson juggling. Almost took the mark. Now fights on well. Hand pass to Webb. She's got some space. Straightens up, and there's a goal already for Swans. They could not have started this game any better, the black and whites. A goal inside 40 seconds. And that's a little early warning sign for Subiaco, Jen.
Well, they're fast starters, Swans, and in their previous couple of fixtures against Subiaco have let them get out to a quick start, and then it's been shut the gate. So something that I'm sure they would have discussed during the week. And then the Swans, that's just signature Swans footy, straight out of the centre bounce, opening up with pace, couple of kicks inside the 50, and then just finishing when they get a chance, not overusing the ball. So really thorough start from Swans.
And Bianca Webb making use of the dry ball early, which is clever. Scores on the board early in each quarter will be really important. It's assumed the WAFLW will take a dry ball out there to start each quarter as Lakay and Ritchie go at it again. Lakay again with the tap down. Contested footy now. Keeps her feet east. Well done for Lacamo. Just to slow that up, Ritchie's hack kick forwards. We're going to work well, I think. Henry bumps Hunt off the footy a little easily in this occasion. Hunt recovers okay. Some pressure work in there from Subiaco. Cox tries to get Swans going, but in the corridor, marking neatly on the chest is Maggie McLaughlin. Fremantle listed player, known for a long, accurate kicking, and this is no exception. Through the hands at the back of Ralph and running onto it beautifully, but kicking the ball through for a point was Hyder. Pressed with Hyder last week, Jen.
Yeah, and she's having to second up in the ruck as well while Jamie Rust is out, still on concussion. So she's got a dual roll up forward and chopping out in the ruck. I think the main thing for Subi is those opportunities, that's where their inaccuracy has hurt them in previous losses. So good that they're able to fight back immediately. I want to find the major opening instead.
And Maguire had to go and fetch that footy from over the fence. Hard work down there in defence. Be nice if we had the spare ball behind the goals in WAFLW, especially with the clock running. Just chewed up about 45 seconds of game time when the fullback had to go and fetch the footy. Maguire, long kick back into play, sliding in Filacamo. Pops the hand pass out, searching for a teammate. High contact is the call. And the free kick will go the way of Ritchie. Played every game this year, Jess Ritchie. One of 7 lines to achieve that feat to this point of the year. Kicks hoping for Buckley or at the back, an opportunity for the Lions. A quick kick and it's a goal. Nicely done by Hayley Corlett. So 2 lines there in the contest. All eyes on Buckley, but Corlett sneaking at the back, and Subiaco have taken the lead for the first time here today. It's 7 playing 6. We've played about 3 minutes.
They set up really well as a defensive for the kick in just then, Subiaco. The pressure kept it in just around the 50 arc, they were able to turn over the ball. Lara Filacamo, she was excellent last week, sort of turned back the clock in her form, and she was important in that sort of congested area just then when the ball was able to be surged forward. Corlett, who also coming off probably her best game of the season last season, last game, sorry, manages to follow it up again.
McLaughlin important there too, just chopping off the Swans exit from Cox. Long time to restart this bounce as well, so minutes being chewed up in administration time at the moment. Okay, no clear winner there with Richie. Richie follows up well again and gets her second clearance of the match. That's excellent work, follow-up work from a ruckman. Leading out is Henry again with Hunt. Henry traps it to Osborne. Violin handballs intercepted beautifully by Abby Dowrick. This is Swans fullbacks go to work. They've got a little outlet and hide. And she's able to take the safety on the chest. There's Michaela to Jessica Cox. It's a neat kick and well taken under good pressure from the Subiaco half forwards. Cox bites off the corridor again to Rennie. Nearly takes a great chest mark against Buckley coming the other way. Gelmy below her knees in this case. Bouncing around again, surge forward by Cortlet. Maguire, as she does so often. This time she pumps it forward. It does skittle through. Gives the Swans half forwards a chance now. It's going back towards Subiaco's forward line again. Darrick off the ground, clever. Half volleyed by Wilkins, not finished though. Rennie's in there to put pressure on. The ball still bouncing around. Buckley working at ground level. Lakay chopped off the ground again by Subiaco. That's okay. The mark can play on immediately. It went about 6 metres, so the players knew. The outlet kick from Henry is going to be intercepted by Harkin. Harkin, solid defender, moved back last year and just found the game incredibly comfortable.
Kicked a goal a couple of weeks ago as well, and I think she enjoyed that. Had a chat to her at work. She's playing against me in fantasy footy this weekend as well, so I'm going to have to keep an eye on the stats from the AFL games at the same time. Free kick here to East, being held on to. She started the game well. It seems to get better each and every week, Dana East. So we'll send this one towards centre half forward. Clears Hope Ugle Hayward. It sneaks out the back. Stribley couldn't handle it, nor could Webb. Leaves it behind. Clearing the area is McIntosh, but it's all black and white jumpers here. Stribley, normally pretty dangerous when she's got some time and space to use the football. Sends this one long and high in the direction of Wheelstruck. Closely watched by Walker. Socket forward. Harkin getting back behind the football again. Shrugs the tackle. Little feed off to Filacamo. Her kick intercepted on the way out. Stribley there again. Be too far out for her to score. We'll want a player hitting up on the lead. Rennie gives a lead now. That's not bad, but not honoured. Stribley goes longer than that towards full forward. Anderson the only hope here between a couple of lines. Fights on well at ground level does Naira Anderson, and she'll at least earn her side a stoppage deep in attack. In these damp conditions, Jen, I think field position is going to be really important today. Yeah,
it's going to be a territory game, isn't it? And Swans in that instance the last couple of minutes have had the numbers.
Filacamo trying to work as she always does at the bottom of the pack. Anderson paddles the ball to her advantage and falls. Looks to be Dowrick pulling that ball around her shoulder or over her body. Too far for her intended target, and also goes over Maguire. Hardy, clean below her knees, gets a great bounce though. Inside out off the right foot forward. Ortlet trying to control the ball back there again. He's done that job so well, as I frequently speak about. It's in the hands of Edwards. Chops out and the ball's hacked forward now for Subiaco. 2v1, Osborne, Ralph with a shepherd. Osborne, little handball's okay. Trying to find Ugle. Ugle's tackled well, but she releases the ball okay. Rennie again, she's been busy early to Osborne, trying to find that favoured right boot. She tries to let it go over the shoulder, but the umpires deem that to be a throw. Good pressure from Subiaco.
Yeah, defensive pressure is impressive. Managing to, I guess, just absorb the pressure that Swans were bringing through just then. Now a chance to move it out wide and use the space.
It's Hayley Corlett with the free kick there. She's already kicked a goal. Filacamo's kick not taken by Lakay. Kia Buckley working hard now, running away from goal and then hooking across the shoulder. And Maguire probably playing a similar role to Jamie Harkin at either end of the ground. Both of them happy to drop off their opponent and set up behind the ball. Make sure it doesn't get past. And on days like today, you can see when we get a widescreen shot, you'll see all the players just compress between half forward at either end of the ground. Happy to get the ball over the back if they can. Brown, some nice work there to the outside. Stannett into a dangerous position. Buckley attacks it hard in the air, brings it to ground and then knocks it further on. Corlett's there again for the Lions. Chelmy in there first. Little soccer kick out of defence. was clever by Ralph. She follows up. Brown sliding in against her. Good contest. Webb went through her legs. Birchall picks up, puts it back inside deep. But Osborne's there. Gee, she plays that role so well. That's a good mark, and the exit's excellent. Super kick finds Baker at half-back.
Baker recently started a traineeship with the WAFL, or the WFC. Works with Kate Hartwell, so graduate of the 19s program. It's in the hands of Subiaco in the centre square at the moment. Kick from Welstra is okay, but Harkin again, as Reggie called earlier, just mopping up at half-back at the moment. Playing high as a full-back. Kick's okay, really favours the Subiaco runners. Cox coming the other way, does well. Finds Anderson, who finds Lakay. That's wonderful work. And Swans have the numbers out the back. They can spread here. It's Emma Nana in an unfamiliar role as a full forward, and she tumbles the ball forward. Shannon Rennie has the pace. Can she get there before the ball clears a line? It's going end over end and stops on the line. What can Rennie do here? She's going to run into 2 tackles and handballs back towards Nana. So it's Stribley with a snap. How good? Too far. It's in open space. Harkins after it, but she's really happy to see that out of bounds as Nana was really speeding up. Well, Swans didn't make the most of that one.
Well, even in the wet, that's their usual play signature, isn't it? Using their pace, kick it long over the top and create a foot race. So even in the wet, they're still sticking with that move the ball on quickly ideal.
Interesting to see Emnan up forward. Kicked a couple of goals last week in Swans' game against South, which was a shortened game in the end. It was good to see her on the scoreboard. Ball in dispute now in the middle of the ground. Osborne off a step. Just squeezes a kick forward. Jess Ritchie's down behind play, which would be a big loss if Subiaco were to lose her in the ruck today. Thorogood going back towards her defensive goals. They're just really shuffling the pressure from one player to the other at the moment, although Devlin finds a bit of space, and that's a good kick on the way out. Almost hit the target. Maguire dishes it off to Michaela Hyde. Wants to draw the player, sells the dummy. What's the delivery like to Stribley? Gave Harkin too much of a look at it. Harkin made sure she couldn't mark and gets the footy herself. Stands up in the tackle, and then a little inside-out torpedo's gone astray. And it's out of bounds on the full.
I reckon B. Devlin attempted to get a nick on that through to you, Jen.
Ritchie looks like she's maybe got a knock to the nose, come off with the blood streaming down her face. It's in the hands of the trainers now.
Blood ruled herself in the end. Long kick in. Well played, Subiaco. Good crashed in there was Rennie. Made sure Ortlep didn't get it all her own way. Trying to rebound now the Lions. Devlin in a tackle, squeezes the little kick out. Stribley, little 45 bumps okay, puts a bit of pressure on the run of Subiaco. Plenty to do here for Subi, but Ashton Cowie thumps it clear. Good mark taken in the rain. Lauren Osborne, she's been very creative so far today. She tries to get to Baker. Baker does enough to get the ball to ground. We stack on. We haven't seen so much of this today yet. Both teams really prepared to move the ball forward.
So tossed in the air, Lakay down looking for Cox, who uses the non-preferred left and uses it well. Put it out into space, and a diving, sliding effort in the end by Bushby. Subi have the options covered for the moment. The kick goes towards Wilstra, too much on it. And again, it's Harkin. Just reads the ball so well behind the footy, Jen. Just sets it up and takes the intercept marks every time.
Yeah, really engages with the play from further down the field, and I think just picks up the cues, the sound off the boot. Just those sorts of extra little things, and it puts her in good positions. Yeah,
Subi turned it over on the way out. Baker's kick inside 50 doesn't hit the target, and the Lions have been able to intercept, and the mark's taken by Darrick. Normally uses the ball pretty well. This is a little bounce pass in the end of McIntosh. Her kick towards Thorogood, couldn't handle it. There in support was Wilkins. Good tackle in the end by Thorogood. Forces a stoppage. Osborne started this game very well. Just the 1 goal apiece. Webb with the early one for Swans inside a minute, and then call it with the reply. And Subiaco have the lead. They're trying to work it out of defence. That ball will go out of bounds on the full, although there's a claim from the Subi players that it was touched. There's 3 or 4 of them yelling at the umpire. Saw Demo gets in the crowd, Dex. We might have to have a word to Dino. Has he got Snicko out there?
Didn't see him in the crowd. Saw him banging on the commentary box glass to say to go to Reg. He hasn't seen Reg for a little while, and he enjoys Dave Lindsay's commentary. Long ball in from Cox. Tried to take it on the chest there was Ugle. Anderson with the crumb, setting upon the Subiaco defenders, the Swans at the moment. Hyde in a good place. Got Darrick in her hands. Darrick, clever with her foot, gets it forward. B. Devlin called herself to play on before the umpire's whistle. In the end, it was a little slow whistle. Just falling onto Cox's shoulder was McLaughlin. Couple of phase build-ups now. Still kicking to really shallow area at top of 50, which is favouring Subiaco at the moment. Edwards can't quite get the get the chest. Trying to rip it out there is Jamie Henry. And Jamie Henry and Lauren Osborne would be just sniffing a chance at a goal, Jen. Halfbacks well up the ground. I can tell you, Aussie, or Skinny Osborne loves a snagger.
Yeah, well, she's popped up earlier, crucially in defence, and now she's right up here on their forward 50. So they've definitely pushed up high.
Hard and aggressive soccer off the ground. With the numbers at the moment, Subiaco coming the other way is very, very solid play from Harkin again. The kick's somewhat hampered. Allows Baker a little look. She's clean. Pulls it into an open space, which should give Harkin another clearing opportunity. She breaks the tackle a little easily and then tries to connect with Filicamo. Filicamo, a little fumble, unusual. Rips East down in the tackle. Loose ball forward's okay for Swans. Really no easy pathway to goal from here, so it would seem. One-on-ones and extra numbers behind the football, and we get a stoppage inside 50. Swan Districts, 3 minutes, 40 seconds to play.
What can Lackey produce here? Can't find it. A teammate at ground level. Spoil from Osborne. Brown does nicely. Subiaco under pressure. This ball's lived in Swans' attacking half for the last 10 minutes. But Swans haven't been able to conjure up a score. Stribley, little hand pass, gives Baker half a chance. She's about 35 out. Harkin again has set up in that position. Can't take the mark this time. Gives Nanit some sort of an opportunity, but Harkin's second effort is excellent. And the kick, a little dangerous, but finds her teammate and Darrick's there to take the mark. Maguire's read this one well. Almost like quarterbacks at both ends, Maguire and Darrick. They're doing exactly the same. Maguire and Harkin, I should say, doing the same role. Coming up to push up on a loose player to make the spoil, and then intercept marking and rebounding. Hard players to get past. So ball up 50 out from goal. Lackey doing some ruck work against Hyder this time. Lackey hooks it down. Anderson was the target. Filicamo got in the way. East just sends the hand pass over the top. She'll follow up and just about get this one back. East. She does in the end. Wins the ground ball. There's no support for her though. She runs into 4 lines. Sock it out of the area. Wilkins leaves it behind. It pops up like a cake of soap and through comes Buckley. Her kick to the wing. Flying high was Ralph through her fingertips. Helping out in defence is Henry. Off to Hardy, and there's some space here for Webb to operate.
Webb confronted by Oni McLaughlin, Fremantle Footy Club teammates. Had a little bit of trouble here, the Swans, but no, not this time at half forward. It's Edwards up the ground. Webb's powering forward. Edwards just waits for it to get into position, then just drops it on her chest. She can keep it going, the right footer. She's a good kick at the football. She keeps it low to Stribley and finds Stribley. That's a wonderful kick. Just wrong-footed Harkin. Harkin for the first time takes her eyes off the flight and worried about the body a little. No criticism on her. There's not much you can do with a kick in like that. Noted goal kicker Tara Stribley. Lovely with a snap. Her set shot's just as good. Young player. Represented WA in the 19s this year. Not 17 years old yet, I don't think. This kick is just going to fade across the goal. The heavy footy perhaps, and Walker sees it professionally over the line.
Well, while they've missed that and only gotten a minus score, the build-up to that position was excellent, wasn't it? Coming across into the corridor, it was composure from Edwards to then find the target inside 50.
Subiaco trying to exit defensive 50. Darrick with ball in hand. Love watching her kick a football. That's a massive kick. She's cleared the pack and it's got over the top. Subiaco need to be clean from here. The pickup just lacking there from Hyder, and it allowed Swans to come in, and now perhaps this is their opportunity. Cox to Edwards. Subi have the extra numbers inside 50. The wet ball slipping off the outside of the boot, but it does give Wilster an opportunity. She hooks the kick back inside the arc. Sockering off the deck, Walker. She'll follow up. Altlip's there for support, being pressured though by East, who's locked this one up quite well, and the umpire happy to call for a stoppage. And the 30 seconds of time remaining here for Subiaco to take the lead before quarter time. The umpire calling for nominations. Eventually they work it all out. Wilstra knocks it towards East again. She's got a chance here, East, although the snap wasn't her best. Nanit keeps the ball in the area. Stannett clears for the moment at least. Rennie will put it back inside. Have they got a moment here for a mark before the siren? Nanit goes to the spoil and then follows up. She'll be carried over the line. And that will be the last action of the quarter. Behind for Subiaco, behind for Swans rather, which gives them the lead at the quarter time break. 1-2 plays 1-1. A goal to Webb to start the game for Swans. Call it replied quickly, and then the wet footy really made it tough for both teams. As a result, we've just had the one goal either way in the first quarter here on front row screens. It's Swan Districts by 1 point at quarter time. Plenty more to come. Stick with us.
Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple.
One of the Subiaco runners had a very stylish.
Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple.
Back here at Leadville Oval, inside the Subiaco huddle. And they've started pretty well. That's the defensive end, and they've held up under a lot of pressure. Swans had the ball inside the attacking half for most of that term. Janelle Cuthbertson, a pretty good defender in the pink strip there for Subiaco as well, doing the running. Dave Lindsay, Clint Degebrot and Jen Wallace, our commentary team today. And not unlike Janelle Cuthbertson there, Jen, to have some sort of brace on. I think she's had a thumb operation. She's always injured. There's always something with her.
Yeah, I was having a laugh with her a couple of weeks ago, just asking if she was completely taped up to her whole body, and she was saying, no, I actually feel pretty good. So
Star of the Mummy 3.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, at the moment, the long arm cast on just to sort the hand situation out.
Question without notice for you, Jen. Thorogood is part of the back five today. Is there anything that Subiaco aren't prepared to throw at her? She seems to be the most versatile player in the WAFLW.
Yeah, she always gets given a task, doesn't she? So when they get together at quarter time here, they'll have a think about who's being dangerous and what job needs to be sort of have someone really intensely focused on it, and they give that to Thorogood each time.
We haven't got any pictures of the umpires out in the middle, but we can assure you there's a couple of famous faces out there. Saw his little face out there, being the most professional boundary umpire in the history of the world, as we see Harkin doing what she did best in that quarter, which is repel Swan District's attacks. And it's Greg Gilby was poking his head around the post when Emma Nannett was being rushed through.
I was going to say, he does look as though he's out there and just wandering around in the centre circle. So see Greg Gilby, and not surprising to see Dean Margette's out there, just letting everyone know that he's here, just introducing himself to the umpires, and they'd be aware that he's watching and just assessing performances, and a little bit of me time for Dean Margette's out in the middle of Leadville Oval.
It also helps too, and we can all think this. Basically, he comes here for a Sunday, goes out there, says good day to the umpires, watches his stepdaughter play, gets a 12-day. It's
true.
Just outstanding.
True.
Outstanding.
Doesn't
play.
come to work Monday.
Make work for you.
That's right. So he gets up. He got a day off. Get a day off for half a day on Sunday. Something he loves to do, which is he's a former player, Sunday League player, captain of Maddington Colts, and he's a member of the Hall of Fame. He's 300 games plus at the moment, heading towards 350 if he hasn't ticked over. Saw Trent Cooper walk past.
I think he's coming in. He wants your microphone, Jen. I think he's going to bump you out the way.
There he
No,
goes.
I don't think he does. I don't think he wants to get on air just yet. He's going to give us some advice, though, I'm sure. 1 goal 2 to 1 goal 1. He needs a pen.
Can we lend Trent Cooper? Well, that's too fancy, that one. We'll give you this old Bic.
was going to say, you could give him the purple, Penny. He coaches the purple. Probably likes it.
You can go on if you like. You're here.
Here he comes. He's going to sneak in for a little while. Adam Dancy's having a chat with the Swans girls as Trent Cooper joins us.
Very familiar with Adam Dancy and his coaching style. You see a little bit of Fremantle in Swan District's play?
I love watching these young teams play, Swans and Peel, and the way they move the ball. And I don't know about Fremantle as such, but it's an attacking style and good skills, so it's good to watch.
We were just looking at the Subiaco runner with another arm cast on, Janelle Cuthbertson. Is there any part of her body she hasn't injured since she's been on the Fremantle list?
No, I think she's been through everything. She didn't even complain about that until the end of the season. We were more worried about the broken rib, but she got through, had everything checked, and our doctor went through who should be playing WAFLW, who should do this, who should do that, and he said she just should book into a day spa for 3 months.
I imagine it would have been pretty hard to convince her not to play. She's the type of person who just can't stay out of it.
Oh, well, when she had the first with the ribbon, we knew. Our doc works with the All Blacks, and he said, no, she won't be able to play. She can't do any damage, but she won't be able to handle the pain. And, yeah, she handled the pain very well. I said, I was very embarrassed. I missed 3 weeks with bruised ribs once. So, I couldn't look JC in the eye for half the year, really, what she was doing for us.
So your role at the moment, at this time of the year, you're obviously keeping an eye on the Fremantle squad players, but also I imagine having a bit of a look towards the draft as well?
Absolutely, our recruiting and also our Freo players playing had about 17, so as we go up, Wilstra a nice hit out.
She's impressive, Wilstra, and she seems to play a whole range of different roles. Didn't see her in the ruck at all in the first quarter, but she starts this one as the sun comes out, which is good to see. Kia Buckley coming up to win the football. Off to one of those Fremantle listed players in Stannett. Attacking the footy, as always, Osborne, but this time she leaves it behind, and Subiaco can get it inside 50. There's a bit of space up forward, 2-on-2 contest. Jelmy gives it away to Henry, promising young defender. Sends it in Osborne's direction, under pressure, gets the hand pass away. Presidio putting that pressure on, and here's Dana East, who has started this game well. Dry weather, wet weather, doesn't seem to bother her. Seems to be clean every opportunity she gets. Lakay goes through her hands. Ugal Hayward at the back though. Can get it towards a very open Swans forward line. Nanit gets over her head. Under pressure. She's got Cowie for company now. Nanit continues to track the footy. She can snap this over the shoulder. No, she's actually got time to straighten up and kick the goal. And in the end probably had too much time. No, she has snuck it through. And a bit of a celebration with her Swans teammates. And Nanit, who kicked a couple of goals last week for Swans, is on the board again here today. And Swans lead by 7 points, Trent. Yeah, no, she's done well going forward, because I don't know that she's a natural forward, but she played particularly well against Amy Franklin a few weeks ago, who's likely to be a very high draft pick, and Em did a good job there and now gone forward and kicking goals each week, and also played well on the wing in the state carnival as well. So she's showing her versatility, which is very handy to have at her age.
Just gave herself some space there too, stepping away from Cowie, and Cowie went back to guard the line a little. And Nanit showing a bit of forward craft. Dancy's prepared to challenge his players, giving his youngsters opportunity. Some twin bullseyes in the middle of this ground leadable over, of course, heavy traffic. A couple of clubs that play here, both East Perth and Subiaco. Many games, this ball comes off Welsh's hand into East. Filacamo tries to rob her of the footy. East wraps her up in a tackle.
It's good for someone like Dana East to come up against Hayley Miller and Lara Filacamo in the middle, who are experienced AFLW players, and test their craft against those good players.
We haven't seen Jess Ritchie after the break. To the news is she's still with the trainers in the room. So alternate ruckman for Subiaco from here as Filacamo takes Subiaco forward. We've seen this a few times. Osborne this time she's got a hand on her to delay her exit. It's Michaela Hyde hiding off the corridor again. The Swans. It's great to see Baker and Wilstra both miss it. Baker back to get it again. A couple of fumbles. She finds some space. McLaughlin, though, she worries her off it. And Filacamo picks it up. Kick only as far as Hardy. It's been okay in the wet. Hardy as a back. Buckley takes the loose handball off the pack. Pumps the ball forward through Gelmy's hands. With Jamie Henry now. Just stands up straight. She just, young player that just keeps her feet. This ball's launched into the centre circle again. East has got the run of it. She's read the bounce well. Stops to pick it up, turns Filacamo inside out. They're going to go inside 50, the Swans. It's over the head of Thorough, good in the hands of Cowie, hits this ball well, tries to barge through. She's somewhat hindered by Stribley on the way out. It calls East into the game again. Loose ball again with the Swans. Cox forward into the hands of Hayley Miller. Long kick to Cortland. It's a good one. Cortland, the goal scorer for Subiaco, trying to find Harkin. Little overlap from Harkin. That's run down by Ralph though. Harkin will get a second chance, so she's going to get 42 touches today. Looking for the corridor. Does find Felicamo. Neat kick. Subiaco probably one of their best forays forward so far. The hands of the running half forwards at the moment. A long kick in. Looks pretty good if it skins off the deck. She's really read that well there. Just misplaced. It's Holly Hyder. I don't remember her name because I'm impressed with her week after week, and that's a really, really well assessed goal going forward.
She played quite well as a shutdown back last year in a few games, but I was the same. I was like, who's that popping up in the free and the forward 50?
Well, she played half forward and ruck last week, and she was pretty potent.
Some good movement from the back. Jamie Harkin, solid as always, a really good WAFLW player. And yeah, her winning that one-on-one and following up after a slight mistake set that goal up.
So Holly Hyder doing the ruck work here for Subiaco with that injury to Jess Ritchie. Had a head knock and came off under the blood rule. There's Kia Buckley and Mel Hardy, a couple of youngsters. Both done some nice things so far today. We were talking about winter weather before, but it's beautiful, bright sunshine at the moment for the players out there. Still slippery underfoot. Wheelstrut, little hand pass back, hoping for Cox to run onto it. She's dragged off the football. Good tackle applied by Hayley Miller. It's a tough scrap for the ball. And eventually we'll see a ball up. We haven't seen much wet weather, Trent, in the WAFLW so far this year, so the girls are experiencing this for the first time this year.
Yeah, last year, wasn't it? It was wet all the time last year, and this year it's been good football, which is great. They get to showcase their skills. Another reason why the summer season works so well with the female game, but every now and then doesn't hurt to have a wet weather game. It's good to watch.
So Wheelstrut wins in the air again. Felicamo posed here to Michaela Hyde, who covers her nicely, forces another stoppage, and we'll ball it up. What's happening during the week for you at the moment, Trent?
Yeah, just concentrating on list management and different things like that. I'm back to part-time for this 5 months of the year, but...
bit of relief teaching again?
Yeah, a little bit of relief teaching, and then...
At the trots on Friday nights?
I had to go out there every second week to do that, to keep the pocket money coming in. But yeah, so a bit of always a chance here for Subi.
With Buckley. Sidesteps away through some traffic, straightens up well and finishes. Good goal from Kia Buckley. And Subiaco take the lead. We've got a good contest on our hands here at Leederville Oval here today. And Kia Buckley, she's quite a promising talent. True.
Works really hard in that forward line, an elite runner. And her kicking style doesn't look great, but she's effective, and she hits the scoreboard consistently. And yeah, a player who just is really competitive as well. So she gives the Subi forward line a lot.
A couple of things I've noticed today is she's actually hit the ball really hard. She struck it really well, so it's actually getting a bit more distance than usual. Might be kicking a different part of the ball today. Something she's been working on. She doesn't work hard. She's been working on a kick for a number of years. Certainly doesn't lack any contested ball winning ability. Again, Hyder in the ruck against McKay. Clay has the height. She does backhand this straight into the breadbasket. The Swans teammate is immediately wrapped up.
A young midfield division here for Swans. LeKay, who have we got in there?
Rennie.
And Ugle and Cox, so not as much experience as what's been out there, although Renee has been around for a while, and hasn't she gone hard in her first couple of efforts back?
She's been really fast too. Very young in there. I wouldn't say that Rennie, she wouldn't be 25 yet, Shannon. The oldest player in there will be 23 at the moment. Fisted forward by LeKay. Attempting to sweep on that. The lines, it's chipped away. Maggie McLaughlin finds Felicamo, connects with Brown very nicely. She's been handy today too. Slightly inside out kick favours the Swans defenders, and a little shove from Henry into Hunt's back. Now Hunt's a decent kick of the footy. She might not have the leg. There's a little short one on for her if she wants it with Wilkins. She attempts to go around the mark, but the kick is charged down by Henry. Hunt on the run again, tries to pull this around the corner, and again smothered Rennie. Swans defenders, Wingman helps out here with Baker towards Anderson. Thorogood's got her today. Negated her effect so far. Baker a second effort. Rennie again. Cortlet. She'll get the first of this and get the kick away. Placed herself really well in this situation. Cox plays as a defender, or plays as a defensive mid. Buckley's outrun her here, not quite, because Cox is able to wrap her up in a tackle. Umpire is letting this go for a long time. Cox is now taking the ball in the bottom of the pack. As Cough is going to spit out again, but you'd hope the umpire at some stage will blow the whistle here and allow the players to reset and catch their breath.
Let it go for a while, didn't he?
Call it shows a fair bit. A lot of athleticism from up north, I believe. And to end up at Subian, yeah, it does show a fair bit.
Jess Cox racked up this time by Hyder.
Jen Wallace, our expert in the box, saying she's a Geraldton girl.
Hockey player, I think. Could be. I could have that wrong. Is that right? I think she's...
all sports.
As a lot of country kids do. They play a lot of sports, but it was best on ground in the grand final up there last year. We had someone watching up there and it was very good.
Filacamo's kick partly smothered by Sarah LeCay, who's back in the ruck now. Buckley. In fact, this time it was the goal kicker from earlier in Corlett who just earned a little bit more ground for Subi. And we'll see a boundary throw in the right forward pocket. So a lot of players around where this ball's about to land. And then it's one-on-one behind the football. As LeCay will do her work against Hyder. Good throw in. LeCay down towards Rennie. Works her way out of traffic. The hurry kick, though, might come straight back. Walker playing in front. Has the runner going by. McIntosh almost ran herself back into traffic there. McLaughlin and Brehyde went at it for a moment. McIntosh again goes to ground. Brehyde tries to fetch the footy out of the pack, and it's going to take a special effort to get it out of that congestion. So a ball up. Trent, we'll leave you to it. We'll let you free out there and watch your girls and enjoy your afternoon, and good luck for the upcoming draft and off-season period.
Thank you. I come in to borrow a pen. That's what I come in for.
You've achieved that.
Have I achieved that one? Can I grab that one and go with it?
Go for it.
Thank you very much.
We've made sure we've given you one that sort of only works intermittently, so that we'll get you back in a moment. Ashton Cowie's worked off Wallstra very well here. She's a little slow to get rid of the footy. In the end, little tackle sees the ball drop free of Cowie's hand, and Wallstra, defensive work as a deep forward. It's got Nan on the lead. Kicks a little slow to her. Kate Ortlett. Claire, a strange situation. Nan at one of the line. Ortlett keeps it in. Maggie Lachlan, professional fumble. Sees it over. Welcome back, Jen. Still giving us expert comments. I just didn't have a headset on from the back. We were playing through you, so it's great to have you back again.
Oh, you got to know your role, don't you? And if Trent Cooper pops up at your window, you take that opportunity. I think I just put the headphones on him and give him the choice.
He said, do I come on? Yeah, you do. You're on. All up. This Greg Gilby with ball in hand. This will be a perfect throw, and it is. LeCay over the back of Devlin. In the hands of East, wrapped up by Filicamo. Filicamo seems to be playing her a little closer, trying to work this through as LeCay gets it in the hands of Ralph. Ralph's kick almost chopped off by Subiaco. Back feed from Edwards is good. Finds Brehyde. And a shove in the back of Wallstra, who's got carry for height, and that might just be putting a bit of pressure on Ashton here.
A couple of frustrating moments for Ashton. She was part of the Nanette goal where she sort of got beaten for pace, and then Nanette cleverly backed back off her and changed the angle and sort of left her stranded, and now just giving away a free kick. So sort of a moment where she'll have to reflect back on.
Worked very hard on her skills, Sarah Welsh. This is a tough kick. Oh, she kicks it hard and flat like she needed to. Seems to have hit the post and registered one behind.
It's been tough for Swans this quarter. Emma Nanette kicked that early goal. Gave them a 7-point lead, but really been all Subiaco since then. As Claire Ortlett comes across to take the kick in. It's a good long kick towards Buckley. Ralph playing in front, though, brings it to ground. LeCay playing the role of the rover. Finds Michaela Hyde off to Bushby. Tried to use the left boot. It's effective enough to Wilstra on the turn. Sprays it across goal. And there goes Greg Gilby again. I want to see Greg Gilby get into the lasso. Yes. I reckon he'd do it well. Bit of a hip wiggle as well. From I think it's about his 945th game of boundary umpiring. Is that right?
Yeah. If he hasn't umpired 1,000 games, it'll be close.
Wilstra in the ruck.
He'd know too.
He would too. Got Devlin for her opponent. Wilstra tries to take clean possession. Actually bounces back to her. Good hands to Bushby, and Bushby converts. Nicely worked from Swans. Subi players just hanging back a fraction there at that contest. Swans didn't need a second invitation, and they've reclaimed the lead. Young Bushby with a goal. Swans by a couple of points. 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. What have you liked this term, Jen?
Well, I think it's been almost a split half this term. You know, I feel like the first half of this was well and truly in Subiaco's attacking half. They got some good value with a couple of goals in there. And then this last couple of minutes, Swan's work rate has shifted in, and they've worked really hard defensively to keep it inside 50. They're giving Wilstra too much space, and she's, you know, looked dangerous, and then she's linked in there. The issue will be now for Subiaco, Richie has gone with a broken nose and potential concussion, so they're going to have to rotate the likes of Hyder, Walker and Devlin through the ruck, and it'll probably give a good advantage to Swans.
Devlin doesn't like the ruck as a rule. Congested ball, centre of the ground. Devlin does find the footy on the ground, which will be a strength as a ruck. She plays a ruck rover, inside out from the right instep, does favour Wilkins. Wilkins, loose handball to a play that had already gone past. I'm not sure Derek was ready for it. A good tackle from Maguire, and the ball spills to Lakay. It's a ruckman in a great spot. This is well tracked by Ugle. Ugle in the team sheet today as just Ugle, formerly Ugle Hayward. This ball to East really does favour Stribley. Stribley gets the mark dead in front. She looks to play on. Gee, that was good footy. Just seemed to open up in front of the players, and East was good enough just to drop it into that little space that Stribley had occupied.
Another good example of just when they get to play with pace, Swans, they get into the front position, get first look at the ball like that.
It was a dream bounce on a wet day for Ugle too, as she tracked that footy. Just ran end over end and then sat up. Tara Stribley, this will give the Swans a deeper lead than they've got. It's a wobbly old kick. She hasn't kicked as well today as she'd like to, but she went to bed last night a good kick of the footy, and she woke up this morning a good kick of the footy. Just because you missed two doesn't mean you missed the next one, Tara Stribley.
They'd like to work rate again today. I'm liking the kicking of Dana East today as well. It's not always her strongest suit. Certainly the ground ball's her A game, but her kicking's been excellent. She's been working on that. It's improving like the rest of her game. As this ball's in a tough little contest at half forward, Osborne doesn't mind this situation, and she'll earn a free kick for some high contact. Inside the last 3 minutes of the term, Swans by 3 points.
She'll be keen for a 50 here. Get herself on the board, Skinny.
A couple of short leads, but none with any real conviction, so it's kicked to the pack. Massive pack flying. East roving front and square. Hand pass away to Wilstra, misses the target, but good tackle. Jars the ball free from Ortlip. Stribley lurking. Cowie's got her. Throws her away. It was Harkin that time. Good tackle. And nicely done by Buckley. Got herself out of trouble. Awkward looking kick, but it's effective. Finds Presidio, and it's all ahead here for Subiaco. Amy Hunt has no one ahead of her, but she leaves the ball behind. And through comes Henry for Swans. Just pops the ball in the air, and Michaela Hyde makes it good. That's a good grab in a contest. Has Webb breaking over the top, and Swans can go forward.
Set up well again. Webb just steps inside and outside. Steps Hyder. The ball to Stribley again. She's got Ortlip for company. Ortlip puts the body in. Well timed. Paddles the ball back, but arriving to help. It's Bushby. East again, clean pick up below the feet. She finds or tries to find that runner inside. In the hands of Webb, steps around again, little kick forward. Run down by Thorogood. Paddled out the back to Bushby by East and scooped up by Darrick, who's cleared the ball well for Subiaco today. Ralph leads back, Buckley to pressure. They do crash into each other, two tough players. Osborne trying to go under a tackle. She's eventually wrapped up and the ball up the far side of the ground with a minute to play. Either team could score from here the way they've played today. This could just arm wrestle to the siren. Laura Anderson, she's trying to get the Swans to go forward. Ralph bowled over by Hyder. Kick out of the pack's a beauty. There's a lot of pressure on Thorogood, who nearly reels in the one-hander. Day has dried up today, but the ball would still be heavy. Brown and Baker go at it. Cox on the footy for Swans. She looks to the corridor like she has done today. Bianca Webb's got the footy. She switches to the top to Hyde. She's been very handy in the last couple of minutes. Hyde plays on quickly. Flat ball into Welstra, who gets it on the chest. And she's got no one with her. Hyde runs on. She's got a shot from 25 metres out, directly in front. She just needs to get enough foot on it. She's just pulled it across her body a little, and she's got a minor. That should be the end of the scoring, as long as Subiaco can clear this ball.
I was just about to write in the book. Michaela Hyde running straight into goal, 20 metres out, Jen.
Yeah, again, just Subiaco looking like they're giving their players too much space, and Swans, they've got too much game smarts and pace. They take advantage of that so well.
Speaking of game smarts, Claire Ortler has walked into the goal square, saw the clock, said 20 seconds to go, I'll get this footy, and we won't even need to kick it out if I can take my time. She's done it like an absolute pro. That was fantastic footy.
Minutes extra break for the Lions at half-time.
Nicely done there by Claire. Look, we've got a good game of footy on our hands. The conditions are improving as well, which will only help it to go further in the second half. It's a 4-point lead to Swan Districts at half-time. They've had goals through Webb, Nannett and Bushby, while Subiaco's goals have come from the boot of Corlett, Hyder and Buckley. Swans undefeated this season. Subi have won their last 3. The Lions are eyeing off Claremont's 3rd position on the table at the moment, while Swans just about stitch up the minor premiership with a win here today. So much to play for in the second half. It's the Black and Whites by 4 points at half-time. On the other side of this break, we'll have a look at some of the highlights from the first half of footy here on Front Row Screens.
Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple. Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple.
Weather's improving nicely here at Leederville Oval as we have a look at the Perth City skyline. It's a good game of footy in action in front of us here at Leederville as well, between Subiaco and Swan Districts, and Swans lead it by 3 points. As the Little League girls are out there in the 2 different Subiaco strips. Great to see the girls out there. We've seen this more and more throughout the season. Clubs getting involved with Little League for the girls as well. And good to see the coach umpire there just handballing the ball forward and giving the kids at the other end who haven't had a look at the footy just yet an opportunity to get a kick.
He's given himself an inside 50.
Add it to the stat sheet. It's been a good game so far. Dave Lindsay, Clint Degrott and Jen Wallace, your commentary team here this afternoon. And Jen, the Lions have taken it right up to the league leaders.
Absolutely. Again, we've just got to highlight the fact that the Swans have come in 11 and zip. They're going that well this season. They are the hunted. This is the team that everyone is going after. There's been some good articles recently about the form that Subiaco have now shown after what was a really slow start to the season. This game is mouthwatering in the way it's set up at the moment. It's been good battle. There's only been the one time Subi at the moment have gotten into the lead. But at the moment, the battle both ends. It gets locked inside one particular 50, doesn't it? And then it's a real arm wrestle to try and get it back up the other end.
When Subiaco did hit the lead, it was through some very, very good football. 2 quick goals, fast ball movement, and pretty much used the ball to stretch the ground out rather than having those players set up. And it was very attractive footy from Subi. And if they can continue to do that, they're a chance of pinching this off the Swans.
Yeah, I'd say that's a signature for them, is the idea of, move the ball on, kick it into space, and rely on the fact that the players know they should be getting to that direction. So instead of sort of looking for where are you going to go and waiting on that kick, sort of releasing as quickly as possible and pulling the trigger. And we did wonder what the weather would do for both teams' style of play with Swans, how quick they like to get on the outside and then kick it forward and use their pace. But so far, maybe a little bit under the knees. It's been a bit slippery and sloppy on some of the pickups, but in general, we're still seeing some really good play.
Yeah, I reckon it's been a high standard game.
Just watching Shannon Rennie crash in the clear outlap to spoil that ball. Not many backs would have felt that pressure from the forwards before. Rennie's having a real crack today. The other one I really like is called it off the chain again today. I'd say a very important play for Subiaco in the second half.
Yeah, her work through mid and just connecting, the two ends has been really important. I think Harkin's been excellent down back again for Subiaco. She's sort of there rock solid down there. Buckley's been really physical, so she's a good in after missing last week. And I've been impressed for Swans by East. Osborne, especially in quarter one, I thought she was really busy. And then in that second quarter, Welstra and Hyde for mine were the two that were looking really dangerous.
Some footy being played underneath this here. Subiaco versus Subiaco. Gold versus Maroon. What are they, 8 and 9 year olds with some good footy below us. We're watching highlights of Phil Acamo taking the chest at the moment. Some running play from Subiaco breaking forward. And this was a wonderful goal from Hyder. And she wrote that one in. I love it when they go Mario Kart. Dave Lindsay.
A nice piece of work as well from Kia Buckley, who's had a good game and such a competitive footballer. Never seems out of a contest at all. And this was the goal from Swans, from young Bushby, who finished off nicely. Some work from Wilstra, who's another competitor who just seems to fight on in every situation she finds herself in. I love the way she really leaps and attacks the ball ups and boundary throw-ins. So many rucks are happy just to stand and wrestle. She wants to get off the ground. There's some of the Swans reserves girls who are playing after this game are having a chat right in the middle of Leederville Oval before their big game. Time for us to take a bit of a break with the help of Optus. Let's take a look at AFL Premiership player Will Schofield's return to the Waffle. It starts with yes.
Just counting numbers, that young lady there.
I started my career here in Western Australia. I played most of my first year at Peel. It was kind of a good transition between junior footy for me and then AFL. It was that middle ground where I sort of grew up a little bit, and it was why I was keen on coming back here. I really felt like that did have a lot to do with me developing not only as a footballer but as a man.
So Hawthorn have done it.
Probably took a long time to get over 2015. When you make a grand final, I think it's the best thing ever, and then when you lose it, you realise it actually could be the worst day of your life. 2015 was just a horrible day. It took almost 3 years to get back there. 2018 was life-defining for me. My best mate was killed in a bike accident. After round one, went to the funeral in Victoria. Pretty much considered not coming back to AFL. I had my first child in June of that year, so that was a real wake-up call for me, and it was great. Fatherhood, changed me a lot. It was a huge roller coaster ride for me that year. Really feeling like my whole AFL life, it was all just gone, and I missed the opportunity. I was not going to get the opportunity to validate my work by playing in a premiership. I wanted that opportunity to, in my mind, validate my worth as a player, but as a person.
The Eagle has landed. They're the premiers in 2018.
Having won certainly helped that, but I've definitely come to realise your value isn't what you are as a player, it's what you are as a person.
Yeah, well, really, when Scully decided to finish up playing at AFL level, I think he was lured naturally back to Peel, because this is where he played his football before he played AFL, and he felt the sense of the community down here, and he's got a young family. So from what I can understand, it was quite an easy decision for Will to come back to the club, and yeah, we're definitely thankful that we've got him.
Like sort of any player that comes out of the AFL, you're exposed to an elite level of everything really that comes with AFL. Training, diet, mentality, you name it, we've seen it at AFL level. So I guess some guys go into coaching, and not really for me. I don't really see myself as a coach, but I do like teaching, and I like leading young men.
I know he's really optimistic about the young talent that's coming through here at the club. So it's been great for him to run our emerging leaders program with our Colts and our senior emerging leaders. There's no doubt that he'll help those guys develop.
I do it fortnightly. We work through everything I've learned as an AFL footballer. So it's a little bit of a masterclass for them on leadership, but really it's about being a better man and leading better as a person, understanding yourself, and giving you a platform to succeed. If the guys go out and get drafted, I'd be proud, but it would be awesome to see. But if they come out and they've learned something and they're able to be a better person outside the footy club, well, I've probably played my role.
Will Schofield there enjoying his time at Peel Thunder this season after his AFL career finished. Some of the Subiaco girls getting ready for their reserves game, which follows the league today. And in the league match at the moment, their girls are down by 3 points. So a little bit of work to be done by Subiaco. There's plenty of fans in there enjoying as well, having a bit of a kick and a hand pass around the ground.
It's almost my favourite part of the calls when we get to watch the kids have a kick at half time. There's always something funny going on. There's a dog chasing a footy. There's a kid, the kid's getting hit in the head by the which is always
Dad selling a dummy around his son, sort of thing.
Time to shine.
Time to shine.
Absolutely.
Resi's coming up for Subiaco. Jen, you had a role with them last week. Are you going to be going down to work with them after this?
I will be. I'll be racing down the stairs, changing into that lovely lilac of the runner's uniform and getting out and
pink.
getting the messages. Yeah, it's not quite pink. It's not quite purple, is it?
It probably starts pink and just gets grosser.
This is true. Yeah, maybe it's greyed out over time because it's definitely not in the uniform. So I will be doing that. Hopefully the hamstrings stay intact.
Busy day for Jen Wallace. Don't forget you do hamstrings when you sprint, so just stay away.
Oh yeah, that's true. I don't get up and sprint. I shuffle along.
Swannies back out on the field. They lead by 3 points at half time. Third quarter action still to come here on front row screens. Back in just a moment.
Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple.
3, 1, go!
Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple.
About ready to go here to start the third quarter. Swan Districts by 3 points at the long break here today. Subiaco, Kia Buckley, has had a pretty good first half. She's jogging down to take up her position in attack for Subiaco. And there's Abigail Bushby. She's also kicked a goal for Swan Districts. And another impressive game for the youngster, Sarah LeKay, young ruck, who's now going to start forward and allow Sarah Wilstra to do some work in the middle for Swan Districts in the early stages. And Bree Hyde has had a bit of an impact at times as well here for Swan Districts here today. Dave Lindsay, Clint Degerbright and Jen Wallace, your commentary team for front row screens this afternoon. The undefeated Black and Whites got some work to do to maintain that record. And they take on Subiaco, who've won their last 3, eyeing off 4 in a row, and perhaps a spot in third position on the table.
Welstra and Hyde up. Welstra, good jump, pulls the ball down with the right hand, but reading it beautifully was Felicamo. Tackling her, surprise, surprise. Shannon Rennie has been aggressive today. Second bounce on the bullseyes, ball in the air. Welstra again well blocked out by Hyder. Learning with every little contest she gets into. Picked up by Darrick, and she in turn is wrapped up by Rennie and Welstra again. Tight start. Game on the line, I'd suggest. Subiaco can win this. Swan Districts will be doing everything they can to keep speed on the ball. Webb shoves it forward. Picked up by Hyde. She was already in a tackle from a good friend of hers, Maggie McLaughlin. Two Hydes and Maggie grew up together pretty much. Hyde gets a hand on this footy. The path of Devlin. Loose ball, looks like Stannett's been moved into the middle. Not a bad idea. Fantastic clearance player in 2020 or 2019 for Subiaco. Welstra again flies high, reading it well. Was Webb, goes without it. Stannett in and under again. This will be the 5th ball up in a row to start the second quarter. Shannon Rennie has been in all of them. Welstra again works the front for Lacamo. Almost rolling more at the moment, trying to get the hands out. There was Darrick, no connection. Ball shoveled forward for Swans. Cox onto this, little handball will do. She's wrapped up beautifully by Maggie McLaughlin, and she can't get this free. We'll go again. Tight tussle. This is what I expected in the first quarter. I didn't get it. Subi and Swans going end to end with their kicks, and this is Darrick. Just a neat little kick forward. It's taken beautifully on the chest. Wilkins. Wilkins kick towards Gelmy and Buckley. Gelmy experienced. Buckley an emerging player, emerging star in the hands of Michaela Hyde. She's in the hands of Devlin and Buckley.
Well, another ball up here, just Subiaco side of neutral territory. It's thrown on the boot here, moving forward for the Swans. Lacamo getting a head over the top of that, and we've got a whistle now. Free kick going the way of Swans. Taking your time. Plugs it forward and finds Wilstra. No, that's Lacay. Uses the body well to protect the flight of the ball. Sends it inside 50. It's tumbling in now. Loose ball. Cleaned up here by Harkin, doing a bucket load of work in defence already today. And we'll see a whistle. Plenty of stoppages already in this quarter.
Forward 50 for the Swans. Lacay reaches over. She's beat to this one by Hyder. Maybe Darrick surging the ball forward. Cox with the chop off. Opposite foot. Favours Henry. Henry gets it on the chest. Buckley, disciplined work to cover off Shannon Rennie on the outside. Forces Henry into the corridor, and in turn it's in McLaughlin's hands. No mark play on. She kicks it to Maguire. Let's kick it to an opposition friend day here at Ludoville. What will Maguire do? I'd suggest you go a little bit further than the last couple of kicks, as she does. Puts it up to Lacay, who flies high. Second grab. Can't quite control the third. Does some work on the ground. Hyder interferes. Fella Carmo. Welstra shovels the ball forward by hand. McLaughlin. The clearing kick. Gelmy's got the drop. She's got support in Henry, although the ball wasn't very friendly at all. Buckley trying to work really hard. Henry's connection is clever for Rennie. Beatrice Devlin got in the way. Rennie on the ground. Devlin keeps her feet and picks her pocket. Drives down the line. Carries Maguire. Henry working back. Osborne reads the ball well with Hunt. Hunt so influential last week for Subiaco in that win versus East Fremantle. Hyde. Hoxidio. That's a 3v1. And we'll get a ball up.
It's just what Subi needed, that stoppage. They're outnumbered, but needed the stoppage just to make sure they can even the numbers up now.
Hyde and Wilstra go at it again. No clear winner that time. Being held back, so free kick to Subiaco. Hyde looking for options up ahead, not much opening up. Goes long down the line, looking for Wilkins and Hunt and Osborne. Great piece of body work to protect the flight of the ball and comes away with it. Looks inside now to Rennie, who fumbles. Gives Subiaco a chance to launch forward, but they recover, and Rennie again this time kicks out into space, looking to open up the wing over the far side towards Loftus Rec Centre. Cowie and Ortlip combine to clean up here for Subiaco. Great defensive forward pressure here from Swans, and just keeps surging forward. Subiaco found their way through with Filicamo connecting to call it. Darrick will put it on the boot as the rain starts tumbling down harder here at Leederville Oval. There's a chance here, kicking it forward. McLaughlin is going to run away towards the boundary line, and Buckley sees it over there for Subiaco.
It's definitely a game where when you've got your opportunity with the ball locked in your forward 50, you've got to score. Like, especially with the rain coming now. Swans had it up there for a good 4 or 5 minutes, couldn't engineer a score, and now Subiaco have shifted it. It's going to be so hard to get it out of here if Subi have got things covered.
Absolutely. We've shut the door here at the commentary box, or I have. Phil Acamo working our way through. It's how soft I am these days. I've got a jumper, shoes and socks, and a pair of jeans, and I've shut the door because it's chilly. Meanwhile, these players plying their trade. The rain falls very heavily now. East can't get this one from Hyde. Call it again. He tries to pull this around the corner. Hardy, so clever in these little situations. Just buys a bit of time for Hyde again. Hyde pokes the kick towards Webb. Thorogood coming the other direction. Hyder, clean pickup. Kick's good, and is able. The player is able to take the mark on the chest, and that's Miller. Miller's kick lifts up. She's 2v1, but Hunt favoured. It was such a good kick. Osborne discipline looks for a fist, and that's probably something that Osborne's been able to do in 2021. She's always been a great drop-off defender and a great sweeper at the back line, but I reckon she's done more one-on-one work, and I just want to give a compliment again to Claire Orlett. Somehow finds space to read the footy, but she does win her one-on-ones as well, so almost the ultimate defender.
Throw now, Wilstrow clear run at this in the ruck. Doesn't bring it down cleanly, and the ball will be held in there between two Swans and Subiaco player Wilkins it is, and Hardy climbs up from the bottom of that little pack. Again, Filacamo not really going to contest the ruck there when she's in that battle, and thrown on the boot and behind.
Shows the problem that they've got, doesn't it, Subiaco, with the injury to Ritchie. They don't really have a genuine second ruck in their team here today.
I reckon they're making the ruck overwork though.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Wilstra just needs to continue to leap at every one of these contests, because every time she does, she's effective.
I don't like the players going over defence. We don't accept it at awful level, I don't think. No gates here at Leaderville for the players to go through. I think David Croot's been fairly vocal in saying how hard it is, how easy it is to put a gate in. Welstra over her head in the rain is neat work, and it shows how hard she's been working her skills since crossing over from Piara Waters a few years ago for the PFL. Lakey overhead as well. The Swans starting to show off their skills now in the wet. Stifling that ball transition is Subiaco, and Beatrice Devlin chops off the intended kick to Cox. Swans really trying to bite off the corridor all day long today. Working to the fronts, Miller. She was just had her opponent all over the shop as she read the drop beautifully and takes it on the chest. Miller looking really fit.
Looks different without the flowing ponytail as well. It's hard to recognise out there without that ponytail just flapping across the number 19.
She's been doing the key forward work today as well, so we haven't seen that dash through the centre yet. She kicks this goal, I reckon she stays forward. If Swans kick the next, we've got a midfielder, Miller. Long kick of the football, goes right to the kick-off line, touched. Disciplined football from the tall ruckman in Lakay, working back to support her defenders.
It's good from Lakay, because I think it was her kick on the way out that really needed to go long down the line instead of inside. She's got a good long kick on her. She needs to make use of that as much as she can.
Osborne had found Anderson out here just at the junction of the 50 and the boundary line. She looks towards the boundary line now to Hyde, who does very well again overhead. These conditions, they're making it look simple for the Camo. Rushed hard there, and Miller decides to play on quickly. She kicks into space inside 50. Buckley and Hunt converge on it. And so Delmy from Swans looks inside, but it's McKay there who's managed to mop up and throw it on the boot and try and rebound out of this 50. Subiaco there in numbers at the moment. And another whistle. Sees it go to Swans. Hardy it is. Looks to move it on. Again, finds space. Ortlick will get to this first. Good defensive pressure, though, from the Swans, just making sure of a contest.
Just at the moment, Subiaco have compressed the ground really well. Swans are finding it difficult to exit their forward half. By just making sure everyone knows what's going on. Throws the ball in the air. No ruck influence there. Straight in the hands of tackled player. Devlin's been doing hard work underneath around the ground today. McKay takes it off hands eventually. Just pokes the ball towards the boundary line. Bugle does get there in time. Filacamo comes and shoves her off the football. Baker scoops on a loose ball. Couple of fumbles, finally gets it. Stannett's pressuring her. Kick down the line's okay. Will the mark be paid? It is. Swans building, hide in the centre of the ground, screaming for the footy, but down the line we go. Shannon Rennie comes crashing in again just to get that ball to ground. She's been super today. Ball spits out towards Anderson. Seems to be moved out of the forward line. Thorogood have done such a great job on her so far. Going up and hitting the ball hard. Subiaco, that player in Thorogood. Ball bouncing around now underneath the players again. Can't quite find a handle at the moment.
Be some sore Subiaco bodies in the vicinity of Shannon Rennie. She's smashing into bodies at every opportunity. She came from a long way back to make a contest of that one.
She's been impressive with her work rate all game so far. And Subiaco, a couple of behinds this quarter, have bridged the gap slightly. 2 points it is to the Swans at the moment. 3-5-23 plays 3-3-21. And once again, Harkin in a good spot, able to repel this forward 50 entry for the Swans. And where does she go for Subia? She looks inside to Ortlip, who again look across to Walker. So switched the play. Birchall runs onto this kick down the line, just in front of the interchange gates now. And it's 2 on 2. And they hold the ball in and slow it down here. So neutral territory right now. 2 points in it.
And everyone on the field shifting from the far wing to the near wing as well. Looking at the umpires waited a good 15 seconds for the whole midfield group to come across.
Swans are set up well in front of the footy. Subiaco have compressed the ground. Okay, trying to burst through. Anderson, clean pickup. Finds Brehide. Brehide hand back in towards East. But Brown nabs it for Subiaco.
You'd love to see Brehide turn and even kick on a left foot there and get out of the congestion rather than shifting it back inside. She's got a left foot. She does. She can use it.
Worked on it. Her left foot. It's almost as good as her right. East from Abby. Bushby. This one goes forward and Walker. A little ill-directed from Bushby. Just needed a bit of length to give Welstra a shot.
All the forwards running away as well, weren't they? No one hitting up at Dana East there.
Nice little 1-2. Falling in the hands of Abigail Bushby. East ran off her. Brehide charges the kick down. Result is contested ball. Top of 50. And I think the players have agreed just to have a little rest in the third quarter, Jen.
So many stoppages. This one just on the half-forward flank here for Swans. Hyde back in, trying to effect a ruck for Subiaco. Obviously an area they're lacking with Richie gone down. Dowrick now with it. Opts for a hand pass, where probably her strength would be throwing that on the boot and using that weapon. And again, another stoppage just outside the centre square, interchange gates side. Another tap down for Swans. And they're moving away with some pace here, but there's free player in defence for Subiaco, and that's Harkin once again.
She's spare behind the ball. Swan's spare is around the football at the moment. There's no one off the ball here for Swans, but Harkin's the one back for Subiaco, so Swans playing the extra mid at the moment.
Designated kicker for Subiaco. The back half, Ortlip, a long kick over the top. Poxidio favoured. Miller runs onto it. Socks pulled up high. Looks like she's been in Exmouth. Tanned up and running fast, relaxed, although she fumbles this one and runs over it. Won't stop her competitive nature. Okay, it's going to go back the other way now with Henry. Subiaco set up well down the line. It's hard to imagine they had that many players free, although East pushes it towards Bushby. Bushby with a left foot finds Welstra up at the ball. Stretching away now is Emma Nannett. Welstra has to wait. Chopping in's Bushby. Who she'll go for? She goes long. Nannett at the back, coming to the front. Walker. Actually, let's call it. Call it. Misses the ball initially and then wraps up Emma Nannett. Thumps her into the turf. Good defence. Call it.
Welstra didn't give really much of an opportunity to Nannett there. Needed a kick to her advantage side.
Welstra in the ruck and Hyde. They nominate. It's another win to Swans. And tumble it forward. Walker with space here. Just needs the ball to bounce up. Doesn't stay. It's down below knees. Makes it difficult in these conditions. Gets the handball away to Brown. Brown looks inside, just misses the target inside, and will give the chance Swans to come back in again, and another inside 50. It's 2 on 2. Walker goes up, brings it down at the back. Looks backed off for a handball. Dangerous time now for Subiaco as it's spilled out the back. Swans are in possession. Looks to centre it to the top of the square, and not cleanly marked, but Another opportunity potentially there for Swans, and Subiaco throw it on the boot for a little bit of relief as Filicomo turns back inside nicely, chips out wide to Wilkins. She's got space to run. She kicks forward to Dowrick, it is there, who's having a moment in the full forward line. Devlin and...
Terrific from Hyde. Basketball between her own legs to find it. It's with East. East is ripped down by Filicomo to the hands of Harkin. Her kicks be chopped off by Henry. Just really disciplined stuff from both sides at the moment. Just resetting these big numbers around the ball every time the ball shifts. Her kick finds East on the outside. Henry, very clever. Still a long way to go for East though. A couple of leads come at her. She's going to go along to the numbers, I'd suggest. Pulls it inside though. It's all Subiaco. Can they work it out? They do nicely. It's call it with a mark on the chest.
Devlin offers a lead wide, ignores it and goes longer. Maguire coming in, providing an option for the Swans for a backdoor hand pass. It gets held in. Arm wrestle continues in quarter 3. Still 2 points in it. 2.5 minutes remain. Okay, with the win again. This time that's to Subiaco's advantage, as they had the numbers that side of the ruck contest. And fantastic defensive mark there from Ralph.
Physical play from Jamie Henry. Is she 16, is that right?
Yeah, maybe.
Just cleaned up her opponent nicely and stood up in the push and shove afterwards as well.
Got a birthday here, but it takes mass to get that done. Not liking the attention after the ball was Birchall. Let her know about it.
Good switch here.
Can Hardy find the handle? She does. Handball over the top is good. Just a little time after forced delay was Hyde, Michaela Hyde. She finds the ball in the corridor. Her ex-state teammate Buckley shoves her off the footy and wins her own ball below her knees. Can she get a foot to it? She can. Looking for Hunt. It's 1 on 3 and Hunt's in the middle of that triangle. Shannon Rennie's crashed into her head, Abby. You have to look after the player that's got her head over the footy.
Well, the umpire next to the play called play on, the one 50 metres away, he made the right call, I reckon.
Right decision. We need to make sure that doesn't happen. There's a way to confront a play, and this is a neat mark with Miller. Against the flow of play, Miller there, just read it best. Long kick's good, although it's in the nest of Swannies. And those Swans mids have dropped back into that hole well so far today. The game's a little stretched out, more stretched out now. If Rennie can find a short, be able to travel. And she does find a short, but it was almost Abby Dowrick for Subiaco. Maguire picks up, gives a hot handball to Ralph going past, can't quite hold it. And there's the siren to end the third. Not too much happening in terms of scoring, if anything at all, in the third quarter. Like watching a game of Scrabble at different times. Everyone had Zs and Xs.
Yeah, no goals to speak of in that third quarter. Swan District's lead of 3 points at half-time has become a 2-point lead at three-quarter time, so they're still hanging on. Subiaco have brought the heat today and they've maintained it for 3 quarters. Can they keep it up in the last quarter? We'll find out shortly here on front row screens. It's Swans by 2 points, last quarter coming up.
Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple. Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple.
Big finish coming up in this one, as Matt Riggio, one of the assistants for Swan Districts, is having a chat with his midfield group. And they've got a bit of work ahead of them here to make sure they remain undefeated in season 2021. They lead by 2 points at three-quarter time. Haven't seen a goal since the second quarter. The rain did start to come again in that third term, but it's dried up again for the start of the last quarter at least. Dave Lindsay, Clint Degebrot and Jenny Wallace, our commentary team, as we go into the Subiaco huddle. And Stannett standing off to the left there.
It's a midfield group, so you can see that Stannett has gone into the midfield. Looks like Corlett. Hyder stays in there. Miller into the midfield with Abby Dowrick. So looking pretty strong. Maggie McLaughlin too can do some midfield work. More fame for a halfback play. Certainly can find contested football around the middle of the ground.
Some of the highlights of the third quarter. It'll be hard to find genuine highlights in the third quarter. We didn't see a goal.
There was some nice marking.
There was some good contests, as there have been all throughout the day, and a lot of stoppages. The field umpire had a lot of work to do, Jen. Stepping in, blowing his whistle, tossing the ball straight up in the air, the right height. Did it nicely.
Their stats were the ones that were up for the quarter, weren't they, realistically? Probably the highlight of the moment, skill execution-wise, was that 3 or 4 minute period where it absolutely bucketed down and Swans were taking marks overhead. That was in an area where there was no, there was only 2 behind scored. I think from a Subiaco perspective, the highlight for them will be the fact that, yes, they chipped away and got 2 behinds. That's not a highlight, but they kept Swans scoreless for a quarter. So they've got to take that into this three-quarter time chat and say, okay, well, how do we add on to that for this fourth quarter and try and get in front and hold a lead? And for the Swans, I think it'll be really interesting. It'd be great to be inside their huddle because this is a game where they haven't closed the door already. And that they haven't played this way this season. They haven't really been tested this hard where come into quarter 4, they aren't already sitting there going, well, we've got a win already sewn up.
Yeah,
in a very physical game. Any inside word on where Hayley Miller's been in the last fortnight? Because she looks really relaxed, she looks really lean, and she looks really tan. Has she had the Exmouth holiday that everyone's... Exmouth is now the now Japanese snow trip.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to Exmouth instead of going overseas. So has she had a litve break?
The Freo girls did go away, didn't they?
They did, but they went south, so I don't know where.
Okay.
I don't know where the tan has come from. In fact, I'm interested because it actually got commented on when I arrived this morning, and when she got changed into the shorts, a few players went, sorry, when did you get a tan? So obviously...
So it's not just me.
No.
I just took a little while to recognise her today because, as Reggie pointed out...
The hair tucked up.
Yeah, I haven't seen that before. Is that new?
The socks are pulled up nice and high.
Normally the flowing ponytail that covers half of the number 19.
Hayley Miller, that's been an issue with when you're calling South Fremantle games.
Yes, yeah. They like to hide their number on the back of their jumper. Bit of a smile from Hayley there as well.
I think she's usually just about to smile. She even smiles as she's just about to pick you off on the ground, and a number of AFL and WAFLW players have felt the sting of Hayley Miller's contested brand of footy. Can she will her Lions over the line in the fourth quarter?
She definitely smiled in the commentary box with us last year when her and Cara Antonio shared the experts' duties. They had a lot of fun up here. It was great to have them join us when they weren't allowed to play too much WAFLW last season.
Donnellan put her house on a Miller goal too at one stage.
Cost her big time.
Lost her house. At least owed her a room for rent free.
So she's marching into the centre square here. She's got Dowrick for company as well, so the big guns are going in for Subiaco. This game is on the line, and this would be huge for Subiaco. They're building quite nicely, 3 wins in a row. Claremont, East Fremantle, and I think South Fremantle are the 3 victims in the last 3 weeks, but gee, it would be a massive tick for them if they can knock off Swans.
All-star mid-6 too. You've got Corlett on one side and Stannett on the other wing with Filicano, Hyder, Miller, and Dowrick in the centre. This taps one down by Wellstra, but it's no advantage of the Swannies. It's Bree Hyde to Cox. Swannies leading the race in this instance, and they're rounding up on the outside as Thorogood did really well in a little kick off the ground just to buy a bit of time for the Subiaco defence. Cox puts her head down and handballs the ball towards Ralph, or to the line more likely. Ralph first there, Harkin, being wrestled by Anderson. She steps through a high hit, keeps her feet and handballs down the line. Ball meanwhile, nutmeg Bree Hyde. hovering over, pretending she was trying to keep it in, was call it.
I don't think I've ever seen Jamie Harkin taken to ground. She always manages to stand up in the tackle, loves a bit of body contact, and no one's able to drag her down. So important behind the ball there.
A little whack on the chops just then.
Yeah, thrives in the physical contest, Jamie Harkin.
Staring in the eyes of Greg Gilby as he throws this in. Beautiful throw to Wellstra, picking the ball up to Miller, having influence already. Buckley in the hands of Cox. And we'll do it again. Wellstra again. To Webb, and Miller wraps her up. Ground set up well in front and behind of the footies. Both sides looking to attack. Miller in the hands of Webb. Teammates at Fremantle.
Another ball up.
You give me one more and I'll give it to you, Jen. Tapping over here was Hyder into the hands of Cox, and she's picked up by Miller and then wrestled to the ground again. Jen, see if you can break up a stoppage.
Okay, see if my luck can change this. Hyder and Wellstra again. Win down to Swans. Bar comes through with the pick up clean, and again another fierce gang tackle. And we've moved all of 2 metres and back again and then back again.
Subi know they're right in this, don't they? I mean, it's obvious with the scoreboard the way it is, but they're sensing something here today.
Trying to work this one clear. Filicamo goes with a little toe forward. Devlin set upon. Oh, Swans, they're letting this one play out. The umpires are hoping that it comes free. It doesn't. It's going to be a free kick.
Dangerous tackle in the end.
Dowrick a bit over-enthusiastic, slamming through the tackle. Goes through to the pack mark situation. Ball's free out the back. And again, it's going to get called in here. I think we'll have another bounce, another throw up.
It's always tough with the umpires because I reckon sometimes that they've got to be consistent as a team themselves. And we've got today one umpire who wants to just let the ball roll continuous, and the other umpire's keen to pay free kicks. So depending on where the ball is, it's been played slightly differently.
Seems to be a rule of thumb too. 3 stoppages. You look to get a free kick, and I think it's good that they do that. They don't make one up. They find one that's there just to keep the game moving forward. We're at forward 50 now for Swans. It's been an attrition to move the ball 25 metres. McKay and Buckley wrestling. There is a chance to get this out at the moment, although call it is wrapped up neatly by Hyde. Bree in this case put to work defensively. So playing on the wing by the look of it. Just come behind that stoppage as East tries to get the run through the ball. Triangulating the footy really well, Subiaco. Stand up with a little kick forward, working deep into defence as a wingman like you'd expect her. Filicamo showing her previous game was soccer. Call it. Beautiful hands and steps through the pack. The Swannies have got this triangulated this time. Osborne ripped off the footy without the ball. Just a little enthusiastic hunt. Just needed to wait one more microsecond before Osborne had collected that before wrapping her up. Assessing her options, Osborne. She goes for a floater. No revolutions at all on that. Called out and well listened. Ortlip on the chest.
Hayley Miller knows Claire Ortlip's voice very well there because she wasn't pulling out of that contest. She was
Buckley, wonderful mark under fierce pressure from Henry. Just stood and took it. Took a little breath in, realised that there was no chance of opening up the lungs with that hit. Just goes back without any breath to kick this forward. Looking for Wilkins. Been okay. Hunt slips through her. Maguire. She can't pick it up either. Looks to be Brown on the far side. Oh, handball forward, not doing her teammates any favour in this situation. Need to kick the footy as much as possible, holding the ball. Called. I think that was there too, Gelmy. Looking for Osborne, you'd suggest. Hunt's given her some space.
Just over 4.5 minutes have gone in this final quarter. No change to the score, so still a 2-point advantage to the Swans as this one's cut back through by Ortlip. Just popping up further down the ground and intercept marking. She looks to space outside on the far wing. Gets the run on there from Devlin, who's set upon nicely by the Swans. They've recovered. Can they rebound here from inside their 50? Connecting some handballs. No, this one's just tapped down. There's a chance here for Subiaco. A low stabbing kick towards the top of the square. Buckley stays on her feet. Wilkins is there as well. Ball spills out. There's a chance here. Centres it to the top of the square. Hunt, she's smothered nicely by Maguire, I think that is. Wilkins throws it on the boot. And it's tapped through, rushed through for behind.
Got an injury, B. Devlin, an ankle problem back at half forward. She's been down for quite some time, way out against the boundary line, underneath the scoreboard, and she's got big problems with an ankle at the moment, which is bad news for her. In considerable pain, as you can see on screen.
Had some injury concerns over the last however long. The umpires have called time on. Scoreboard has now stopped as we just make sure that we get Beatrice Devlin assessed and safely from the ground.
We were calling a game last year, Degs, when Lara Filicomo broke her leg, and we've had a couple of broken legs in the last few weeks in WAFL Women's, but hopefully this is just an ankle tweak rather than a break.
She's got every right to be a little aware of injury, Devlin. So hopefully that's just a little bit of I'm so used to being badly hurt that I'm just going to really check this out and we can get some...
She's putting some weight on it now, which is promising, because at first she wasn't prepared to. So there's no doubt there's a major issue there. Hopefully it's just a little sting on the ankle rather than any real structural issue.
Yeah, as you said, maybe just hopefully, we hope that is the case, that it's a little bit more sensitive towards injury, because she's had a horrible run of some major injuries recently. So the good news is the fact that the further she's coming towards us here in the grandstand side, the better she actually seems to be walking. Still favouring it.
But, that's the knee that required an operation, and I can't recall which hamstring was an issue for her late last year and again this year. That leg's taking a bit of a beating at the moment, so...
It's fascinating watching this now. There's one-on-ones all over the ground, and so many of these girls know each other very well. There's deep conversations going on between 4 or 5 pairs of players. The best one, I reckon, is Hayley Miller and Bianca Webb. They're having a good chat, probably about the AFLW Triple A. There we go. There's a little chat there. Hope Ugle. Just chewing the ear off Liana Birchall as well.
It's a smiling. Won't be smiles if the ball rolls towards them, that's for sure. Both contested players. There's Miller and Webb, talking about what happened last week.
Nora Anderson, she's never short of a conversation.
She will talk to anyone, Nora Anderson. One of the more friendly people you'll ever meet. As Maguire gets us underway again, dashing out of the goal square, pulling the kick in the late, at the last minute to Webb. Call it intentional, call it again. Birchall works off Ugle. Long ball into Hunt, sitting at the back. Osborne had the drop. Did it fall near Brown? It did, but Hardy coming the other way was good. Just retarded at the last moment by Ortlett, just potentially cause a repeat entry though. Bree Hyde just finds space where there wasn't any. Gives it to Henry, who found no space whatsoever. Bianca Webb, bottom of this pack.
Great footy from Mel Hardy there. That ball was in a very dangerous position, and she made it her own and got the good clearing kick away as well.
Ball up again, and lots of these. Jen Wallace talked about umpires got their stats up, but still going to break all kinds of records today. Finding a space behind the pack but not using it effectively was Hyder. Ortlett's on this, and the pack will fall on her, you'd imagine. It has.
Umpire just tangled with Maggie McLaughlin as well, so he got a shepherd in there as well.
So just 1 point in it in this game between ladder leaders Swan Districts. Been undefeated so far. With 11 rounds gone, this is round 12. Just WAFLW. Subiaco, they're in 4th place at the moment. A win for them. Could see them sitting on the same points as Claremont in 3rd. Hyder wins this tap down. Trying to send it forward. All the players are turning up in numbers to each of these contests and just making this a real head over the ball arm wrestle. So it's dragged back in for Subiaco. Swans look to spread down the ground now, find some connections down the line. Plenty of numbers there, and in front is Courtlet for Subiaco. Brown's open in the middle. She opts to go longer down the line. It's over the top. McLaughlin looking to pick that one up. Can't do so as the numbers are there for Swans. Little hand pass out to Hyder. Smothered there from McKay. Excellent work from Swans to man up. Tumbles it forward. Free person in defence for Swans. Sends it back outside the 50. On the grandstand side, Miller. Clever hand pass. It's thrown on the boot again from Kintosh. Hyder, she's popping up. Plenty of times now she's had to play in the ruck since injury to Richie in quarter 1. Some good pace here from Swans, but Harkin just sitting back. Although she's fumbled this one.
It's a well struck in the hands of Nanit now. Nanit looking long to Anderson. Thorogood getting there in time, though. The recovery from Anderson was good. The handball just a bit behind Wellstra. She's got another handball if she wants one. She gets it onto her toe. She's going to kick this out of bounds in the full, and Tara Stribley has got every right just to have a little look in deep into the eyes of Wellstra there. She chooses not to, which is good play from the youngster. Don't need to show your distress to the teammates, but handball to Stribley would have just about sealed the match while this has been played in the last half.
Well, the whole second half, it's been field position and locking the ball in, but no one can kick a goal. This is Swan's turn now, so what can they come up with? There's so many players inside their attacking 50.
Wellstra in the ruck should provide them with some dominance. She takes it out of the ruck, splits the pack, goes off the ground. It's okay, but Thorogood's in the right spot. Nanit pressuring her, and Thorogood's happy to spill this over the line. It'll be a hard-hearted umpire to call that intentional, although it was.
We've seen it before.
Yes, we have.
So Subiaco will be 2 down on the bench now, won't they, with no Richie and now no Devlin.
Some guns on the bench here too underneath us. Caitlin Walker and Lara Filacamo waiting to check into the ground.
No clear winner of that tap down. The Swans in dangerous position at the moment. It's hacked out and well read from McKay, and she just chips it in forward, but it's the wrong kick. She needed to execute that one a little bit better. Rush kick forward from Subiaco. Maguire, as she does so well, just mops up the back, finds Hyde, who sends it inside 50. And it's marked here from Hyder, who's pushed back into defence.
There's just 2 lines of numbers. Subiaco have got 6 or 7 across that full-back line, and Swans have got them all across half forward for them.
It's that pace of someone like a Bushby that's going to break the lines, isn't it? As she tackles Stannett to the ground behind play. Cox was going for the try. Miller is leaping on her, and the colours of the Swans in this case look like the zebra, and Miller was the lion. Absolutely burrowed in to Jess Cox. There's no way Miller wanted that out of bounds. Hyder's got the chance to do the same. She plays it live. Buckley gets this around the corner with good contact again. I've been impressed with the way she struck the footy today. Ralph being the master down the back with her teammates. Eventually she's pulled off the footy. Courtlet goes without it initially. Pressure now comes from Henry. Cox comes to the front of that stoppage. Working also in there was Baker. Shoved off the footy. Should pay advantage to Stribley, but Stribley stopped on the whistle.
I think he wanted to pay advantage, didn't he?
Yeah, you've got to blow the whistle as an ump, but players often stop. Stribley wasn't sure. She looked over her shoulder. It's back with Baker. Not the deepest kick, but it's okay. Through one set of hands and hits Nora Anderson on the shins. We all dive in again for another 450 stoppage.
It's the only sport in the world, isn't it, that blows the whistle and says advantage at the same time. So that you have to stop and listen, but you can play it if you really want to. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense at all.
And then you've got to make up whether it's continuous play or not. And if you
whistle, exactly, yeah. It's one of those strange sections of this sport for us, isn't it?
And also, if you continue to tackle, you'll give 50 away.
Yeah, that's right.
So you have to stop as a defender, but if you do, you give massive advantage away.
Yep. So a chance here for Subiaco to...
We might have talked about that late at night, me and David, at some stages in our relationship.
It is an oddity. Try explaining that to some other global watchers of this sport, Aussie rules.
The other one is the whistle when the umpire says, move it on.
Yeah.
And if you react to that whistle, you give 50-metre penalty away.
We like to keep it simple, don't we, apparently? Not at all. Someone's seen over the line again.
The game is hard to umpire, and we change the rules every year.
It's next goal wins now, isn't it? I mean, the way this whole half's gone, we haven't seen a goal yet. There's 5 minutes left. If either team can kick one, I can't imagine we're going to get 2 goals in the rest of this time.
There's more admin time too to throw this in. Eventually throw it over the shoulder. It's Hyder and LeKay. LeKay whacks it back towards Cox. In her way, Brown. Rolling maul again. Give me one more chance, Jen. I'm going to hand this over. Okay, clearing kick now is a beauty, and we're away. Hunt leads in the chase. Hardy, good bump into the side, and she picks up the crumb. The game's opened up in front of her now. Can Rennie chest this? Caitlin Walker coming the other way. It skips through her. It's in the path of Edwards. She's got support from Rennie. Another handball onto Bushby. Kick goes too far, and it brings Harkin into the game. This is in the hands now of Filacamo. Pulls around a corner and hits Darrick on the chest, who obliges by just grabbing it in on the second grab. Steps around Hyde, looking for Hunt. Hardy again. That's a great one-on-one mark. Just as the sun comes out to shine a light
She's
on
had
her
3
skill
wins.
set.
3 wins this quarter, and it's keeping Swans in front.
Her kick's okay to Gelmy.
She's definitely not going to let it go on her watch, is she?
No, Ralph completes the catch in front of Buckley. Swanie's under pressure. Wobbler towards Darrick, who takes overhead. So now we're starting to show off our skills here at Leadville Oval. This is going towards Wilkins, it looks to be. Wilkins is in the hands of Gelmy. And we're going to take a break from some good footy. And we're going to have the ball up.
Well, we just had a couple of times where that went sort of between the 2 arcs, but a little bit more open play than we've seen in this second half. The Rucks go at it again. Swans winning the tap down again. But heavy tackles through, all the bodies involved. We'll see it thrown up again.
It's even numbers everywhere. No one's been able to drop a player off. Osborne just looking to find a little bit of space in defence for Swans now.
Clever tap, but it's Subiaco that read it better, and Dowrich tries to get it onto the left boot, and it skews off the side, so we'll have a boundary throw in.
There it is, Greg Gilby. The lasso. Oh, geez, he did it forever. Well done, Greg Gilby. He runs backwards better than most.
High knees and backwards. That's the key to being the boundary umpire, isn't it?
What's happened here? A little shove off the ball, potentially Hyder just blocking McKay's path to the footy, which is a shame because Stannett had it in her hands. And Maguire launches, goes through hands, falls into Lacamo's hands, who scores a try. Although we have to check whether that was down or down twice, or if she had control.
Downward pressure. Go out to the bunker.
I think we have to go to the bunker for that one. I think she had it under her arm and just popped out the last minute. Greg Gilby again, called into work. Good throw in. McKay and Hyder. Hyder's been super today, considering the height and strength she's been surrendering. She wins this ball forward, and could this be the answer? Hunt's got the ball at the back for the first time. She leads the race. She misses with the sock. She's got some teammates have arrived. They've kept their feet. Eventually, Swans pull that pack down. And if we were playing that other game, what happened there?
Well, 2 umpires watching, they were both closing in. One was going to pay a ball up, and the other one was going to pay the free kick. And the free kick overrules the ball up, so we've got a free.
Got a free. I think it was Amy Ralph running away with that one. Caitlin Walker, Thorogood, fists it forward to Darrick, who's been really trying to move the lines into forward 50. Handball was a roughie to Brenna Hyde from Edwards. Long ball in, Osborne in the spot, goes through her hands, gives a little sniff to Brown. Brown comes through the pack. Eventually, she's mopped up, tackled hard by Ralph. And her coach should be very happy with her trying to get through there. No shame in getting hold of the ball, trying to break this game open as the siren sounds what seems to be early.
Well, we had that injury, didn't we? So we don't know what happened there with the clock. When the clock was held, it was held for us on the scoreboard.
There's going to be some controversy here because the players are all looking. The siren to mine has gone a little early in terms of that injury time, although it's very confusing. No time on.
So our clock stopped and it said 1:25 when the siren went. So
the front row screen's clock stopped at the top of the injury, maybe a little bit before the main game. Players seem to be a little confused with the earlier finish.
Ironic that we've been talking about wasted admin time with fetching balls over the fence and umpires taking a while to ball it up, and then we've had the injury when the clock does actually stop, but we don't exactly know when that stops and when it begins to run again.
Defending all timekeepers, because there's no time on, they're not always ready to pull that trigger really early. You've got to really watch the umpires for when they call time on.
The Swans are still unbeaten. They've won by 1 point. There wasn't a goal in the second half today. It was a tough battle. I reckon in the end, as much as Swans win the game and they've won by 1 point for the second time in about 3 weeks, I reckon Jen Supi probably take more away from this game.
I think so. I think that second half, the fact that they've found a formula to keep Swan Districts from scoring, that's a huge positive to take away. We do feel like that game was a bit anticlimactic because we thought we had that minute 20 left and it was inside a forward 50.
Surging.
So there was this, a thought of someone might get a score here. But at the same time, you give credit to Swans in managing to find the lead and under a lot of pressure, even though they've held on to it by only 1, that's all you need, isn't it? So, again, they'll look at it and go, well, now we're 12 and zip, and we've been pushed twice by Subiaco, so they'll take a lot of confidence when you think of what finals footy is going to be like.
Particularly when Subiaco's defence today is so good at attacking. Swans is equally as good. They were forced to defend today for long periods of the game against an opposition with less dangerous forwards. We see Subiaco's defence, I think, create a lot of problems for opposition midfields as they come up the ground and attack.
So Swans are 12 and zip, Peel are 9 and 3, and there's 3 games to go. So Swans have a percentage advantage as well over Peel Thunder. So you just about give them the minor premiership now. Trent Cooper's returned the pen. That never happens. That's brilliant. That's why he's one of the best men going around. He's lost that many pens when people have come to borrow them. He brings it back.
He's also thrown it in and slammed the door to avoid getting his headset put on his head again from Jen Wallace.
Good work from Trent Cooper. And a good game of footy. A big huddle between the Swans and Subi girls out in the middle.
Despite the no scoring in the last half, it still was an entertaining battle in terms of what both teams were trying to do, how hard they were going at each other. And the conditions look absolutely perfect for the reserves game to follow.
Yeah, they've had to slug it out. There was a bit of rain there at various times, but
to Maggie McLaughlin inside the Swans huddle.
Telling the Hides all about it.
Well, it's very good friends, the Hides and Maggie. I think they played state schoolgirls together a long time ago now. It seems like they've been around forever, of course. They're only 19 years old. Turning 20 in January, I think, the twins. Maggie a little bit after that. Speaking of experience, Amy Ralph and... well, she's almost Wonder Woman, isn't she, Emma Maguire in the back half?
Never missed a game since WAFLW has begun. She's the only Swans player to do that.
A couple of times she was called on to save the goals. We're just awaiting the Swans song. A couple of times she was last person in defence that had to stand up and stop Subi Surge goal.
Now, Jen, we saw the Rogers Cup Swans girls sing the song before our live stream began, and we were a little bit disappointed with their effort, weren't we? A little bit mixed with their performance.
It started strongly and it got a little bit mumbly, didn't it?
Let's see what the league girls
These guys
have got.
had plenty of practice.
Here they go. Twelfth time this year, and Jo Taylor, what a great bit of work from her. Had the mobile phone out in the middle of the huddle, scanned around, got everybody, and then snuck out the back door to get the wide view at the end as well.
And to miss the water that was thrown. You can see Hannah Hong there, S&C coach, is just polishing her phone up. She might have got a little spray on hers.
And you've been talking that the water shower that the players get with the song has been quite welcoming in the 30-degree, 35-degree heat that they've had to play in. Not so much today.
Not today. How quick's Trent Cooper? He's got down to talk to Bianca Webb from the box. There's Jo Taylor as well. Jess Cox in your front picture. There's Julesy there too. There's Ash Sharp's mum, just at the bottom of your screen. Ash Sharp announced during the week why she's out. She's out pregnant at the moment, so congratulations to her and her partner. Another little super footballer due in December. I reckon Fremantle will have their eyes on any sibling or any child, of course, is one of their famous or hard-running super players at Sharp. Jess Cox surging the ball forward, Megan McLaughlin with the intercept. A lot of good footy today, despite the lack of scoring at the end. And I think Subiaco and a couple of young players from Subiaco stood up. I thought Buckley was very good today, and that's a good sign from her moving forward.
So I wonder where this first loss is going to come for Swans, because they've held up to every challenge. Peel got within a point of them a few weeks ago, and now Subiaco have challenged them as well. They've had Claremont's measure throughout the year, and then we know the Sharks and Bulldogs have both struggled a little bit. But as we said, Jen, I reckon Subiaco take a fair bit away from this game, and they know if they happen to come across Swans in the finals, they'll be able to take it right up to them, and perhaps they're the team that can challenge at the end.
Yeah, I think you do. It's one of those coaching cliches, but you've got to look and review your losses without emotion as well. And I think that's one thing that Farm will look to do, and hold the review come Monday afternoon, look at the footage, look at where they've gone, and sort of realise that from round the first time they played, then the second time, the third time, the distance that they've caught on to Swans and the way that they play them means that should they line up as 1v4 in the semi-finals, that they've got a game plan to work with, and same for Swans, that they'll know that they need to take this team seriously.
And Subi are fourth. They're 2 games and percentage clear of East Fremantle. They still play East Fremantle one more time before the end of the season. So Subi probably just need one more win just to make sure that they're in the finals, and they're eyeing off third spot. Claremont still to play East Fremantle today, although if the Tigers win, they'll be 2 games and percentage clear of Subiaco. So it is shaping up as though it'll be Claremont-Subi first week of the finals. Degs in a knockout, which Subi have had Claremont's measure a few times in recent times.
And the pressure is here. There's some form to some good players. So I thought Darrick was up and about today and one of her better games. And Miller back in the team, and feel like Harmo, I think, last week returned to form, and she continued her hard working play today. Players like that up and about are certainly going to make it hard for opposition teams. The only question, of course, is Devlin going to make her way back to the field? She was on the ground under her own power at the end with some ice on the egg. So hopefully it's a stinger or a one-weeker, and she can be there at the pointy end to help Subiaco.
And Jess Ritchie as well, which is going to be a big blow if they lose her for a few weeks.
Yeah, Jess Ritchie suspected broken nose and concussion, and then Rust, the usual second ruck, should be due back from concussion. So maybe there's a direct swap there, but still, that's a big change when you lose your rucks.
To get Rust back and then Ritchie back in a fortnight, happy and healthy. The brain's obviously the most important muscle in the body, so let's make sure that she's okay. The broken nose is one issue because you have to be able to. It seems to attract attention, the nose, once it's broken. Yeah. So they can get Rust and Ritchie back together over the next week. It'd be interesting to see what they then can do with Hyder.
Yeah, well then they can use her as that swing lady again, back in the forwards with her intensity, and she's so good physically, and she's very good with her fitness, so she can run through. And it's not a bad thing to get that much time in the ruck through to a different player.
Absolutely.
So. And the Swans, I think they've come out of it injury-free, so that's another big tick. 12-0 and injury-free moving forward into finals time, so they're going
rolling,
well.
Don't they? It's been a fantastic start to the year, but we all know that the main stuff's still to come for Swan Districts, and they will be full of confidence, but very wary of a few teams, particularly Subiaco at the moment. As we start to wrap things up here, a win for Swan Districts by 1 point. Jenny Wallace, you've done a bit of everything today. Expert comments, play-by-play. Nicely done.
Thank you.
We'll catch you again, I'm sure, soon. And Deggers, as usual, just snuck in just before the first bounce, cruised in, ready to play. Off we go, done, pack up, off to Mandoon.
I was set up by about quarter time.
Well done to all the guys behind the scenes, the cameramen and the guys keeping us on air with this live stream on Front Row Screens as well, doing a wonderful job as well. Matt and the team, well done. And stick with us on Front Row Screens, plenty more Waffle and WAFLW football to come next weekend. Swans the winners today by 1 point.
This WAFLW live stream is brought to you by Optus, proud partner of the Waffle and WAFLW. The West Coast Eagles, supporting WA female footballers to follow their dreams. Kia, proud partner of the WAFLW. This is Kia. Simply Energy, supporting WA Footy's talent pathway.